Screw 616. Fuck Earth Prime. This season, we're going multiversal. Super Nerdland brings you graded .5.
Alright everybody, hey and welcome to Graded Point 5. This is our second live episode. Let's try to fuck it up a little less than the first, shall we? I'm your host Jason, with me as usual are Wayne. Hey. Bueller. God damn it. Dick, who needs to unmute himself again, you fucker.
Yeah, I had to take care of something. Hi. Yeah.
You had sick hair, what? Oh.
Yeah, sure. We'll go with that. I needed to get all my pouches on so that I was ready to talk about this.
This is not Rob Liefeld.
Yeah.
And because we felt like bringing him along again, we brought Evan.
Hey guys. I'm like the forever redheaded stepchild of Graded Point 5 now.
That's bullshit because I actually have red hair, so fuck off.
You don't have any hair.
Well, it's red when it's there, Jason. Red when it's there.
Alright, well then I'm the red bearded stepchild of
I've got red in my beard too, so fuck you.
Shit.
You have no gimmick. Get out.
I also have blonde hair in my beard, so you can't claim that one either.
Can I just be the stepchild then?
No, you're Barry.
Oh no, I have a stepmother.
You're fucking Barry Horowitz.
Yeah, you're Barry Horowitz, man.
Yeah, perfect.
You self-pat on the back.
Come in when one of us needs somebody to do the job. That's all it is.
And you pat yourself on the back, and that's your gimmick, period.
I'll settle.
So yeah, this week...
I got a gig.
Hey, right?
A regular paycheck, it's fine.
This week we decided to turn the clock back about 16 years and do some more, actual good Marvel alternate reality shit. This time around, it's Exiles, which was a very big departure from the normal alternate reality shindig that comics got going. It wasn't like, oh, well, what happens if, we change one little fact, and here's the reality that spawns out of it. Exiles was more like, let's take a shitload of alternate realities, make them do the nasty, and then have them fuck up more alternate realities.
Mm-hmm.
So we have this
descriptor.
Yeah, we got this crew that's like, the original lineup is, let's see, Blank from Age of Apocalypse, an alternate version of Morph from Age of Apocalypse that was not Age of Apocalypse.
Not the same one as Blank.
Yeah.
He was pretty much the same except for the fact that he had a good upbringing.
He had a good life that wasn't run by Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Let's see, Magnus, the son of Magneto and Rogue. Nocturne, the daughter of Nightcrawler and Wanda Maximoff.
Yep.
Thunderbird, which was a version where John didn't die during his second mission with the X-Men, and instead became, a herald or a horseman. There we go. Yeah, I was trying to remember which one it was. Wasn't it War?
Death.
I thought Death. Okay.
Yeah.
Because they bring up a lot of mentions of War when he fights Hulk, which made me think maybe he's War.
Well, in issue 6, he says something about to generate. He said when you're generating a creature of death, and he says, "Is that how you really feel, a creature of death?" And he's like, "Sure." So I've assumed,
Yeah, but there was this whole exposition piece about how Apocalypse turned him into War. I don't remember it's the same issue, but it was the same storyline.
Well, let's look at it this way. When Apocalypse is making you a horseman, in the end, doesn't really matter. Because you're
provided it's not famine or pestilence.
Yeah, I mean, you're kind of doing the same thing. Yeah.
War kills people, death kills people. Yeah. And I feel like I'm
a combo horseman.
I feel like I'm missing somebody.
Mimic.
Oh yeah, Mimic.
No, you're not missing anyone.
No. See, this made me actually like Mimic.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I was like, the Mimic in 616 was like a loser and nobody cared about him, Even when he was like supposedly a big deal, he wasn't a big deal,
Where this Mimic literally led the X-Men in his universe.
Mm-hmm.
And was what I think they said an Avenger, a Defender.
Yeah, he was
he kind of filled the Wolverine role where he joined every fucking team.
Yeah.
I just say it was a little weird. I've never heard of Mimic before as a hero because I'm like the guy that doesn't read comics, and like when I first like was reading about his powers, I was kind of like, oh, so he's Mary Sue.
Not really, because the way they read him up, which is a brilliant way. I mean, this is even back when they originally created him. He only gets half of the effectiveness of their power, and unless he's exposed to it for a long time, he can't hold on to it.
No, I know. It just felt a little Mary Sue-ish to me. I don't know. Maybe that's why he wasn't super popular.
I wouldn't say Mary Sue. I would say Deus Ex Machina though.
Yeah, very true. I don't know. It just kind of I didn't. The Mimic was not my favorite out of the people in this.
Let's define here real quick. A Mary Sue is a self-insert.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm not Mary Sue. There's another fucking term for what I'm talking about.
He is the MacGuffin.
He's the Cartman
from
the
MacGuffin,
episode.
MacGuffin
He's Cartman from that episode of South Park where they're all ninjas, and he's like, "My power is to do this. My power is to do this."
Yeah, the MacGuffin. Yeah, he's the MacGuffin.
Yeah. MacGuffin's not the phrase I was looking for, but that's good enough.
Yeah, because I mean, I remember that, just a little sidestep here. I remember there was an episode of G.I. Joe back in the day where they were literally trying to save the MacGuffin device from Cobra. And they said, what is the MacGuffin device do? And they said, more than you can imagine. I'm like, yep. 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 Mm-hmm.
A little too on the nose, though.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got Judd Winnick on story, Mike McKone on pencils. I think Mike McKone changes out around issue 4. But none of that matters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the pencil work was pretty solid through the 6 issues that we read. I didn't see any problems with the art. There's a couple of panels that have weird perspective things going on, but I think it's because the action of the panel is hard to convey.
I can see that.
Mm-hmm. Like in number when they're fighting spoilers, by the way, we're just gonna hop into part of the story here. When they're trying to kill Jean Grey, there's some parts in that fight that are just, I don't know, they look awkward and the composition is a little weird. And I think it has to do also with the way the page is laid out.
Well, it's
just me.
It's 3 things. How the page is laid out, the fact they're fighting a cosmic level threat, so it's really hard to put that on a page to begin with. And then 3, they're on the moon. So gravity's all fuck all. So you do get a lot of weird perspective possibilities just thinking about it. And seeing it translated to the page, sometimes it doesn't work well.
And it doesn't hurt that episode had colors done, I think, by a studio rather than by an individual artist, if memory serves, which makes it even harder to tell what the hell's going on.
So yeah, like this team of other, alternate reality characters is brought together with a goal of, okay, time itself is kind of fucked up. Time and reality itself, like the multiverse is fucked. We need people to fix it bit by bit by bit. And if they don't fix it, their own personal history will be really fucked up. A couple of them, Blink would never be born. Morph would have had his cellular structure fucked up and he'd be in a beaker. Mm-hmm. Magnus would have killed Rogue accidentally. Shit like that. All these characters have this point of, we need to fix time and reality itself, or our time and reality is going to be so fucked up we're not going to know what to do with it. So they're given another kind of MacGuffin in the Talus, which anytime they show up in reality, the Talus will tell the holder what they're supposed to do. Not directly, just kind of in oblique terms. Like the first reality they get dropped into, the Talus tells them, find the person who would be our greatest teacher. So everybody goes, oh, it's Charles Xavier.
Who else?
Yeah, but when you look at that, when you think about it in the grand scheme, it said it was talking to Blink.
Yeah,
and it said find your greatest teacher.
Yep.
See, they were thinking in there, and that's like one of the things I kind of like about Calvin. He brings the around the fact that like his universe was as close to the 616 as you can get.
Yep.
but with him being a hero instead. That was
With
like
him being Wolverine.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but there was also a Wolverine, so whatever.
He was like Wolverine's best friend.
Yeah. So he was basically the closest thing. So you could get the perspective of it's got to be this way and it's got to be that way. And then you got Blink saying, "No, quit thinking that. This is not your reality." She had to keep reminding him this is not your reality.
That, yeah, but like Talos said, find your greatest. Who would be your greatest teacher? So everybody goes, okay, Xavier. They bust Xavier out because this is a reality where any type of superhero is outlawed, killed, incarcerated, aborted, anything. Just anything to get them off the table.
Yeah, you got Tony Stark probably never becoming a superhero in the first place because it's against the law and he's a playboy. You got Xavier and all the X-Men imprisoned.
And the funny thing is, I like they bring this fact up. Without people like Reed Richards and Tony Stark on the table, technology suffers hugely.
Yeah. Because when they were organizing the prison breakout, that was because they were able to do it so easily. It was like, oh well,
So they bust Xavier out, and lo and behold, not only can Charlie walk, Charlie's fucking evil. Like, he walks into downtown Phoenix and lets out a mind blast that turns everybody into a vegetable within 5 miles radius.
I just want to say real quick that it's kind of weird how, even though it's kind of obvious that you turn Xavier into Magneto, which is what basically this is, at the same time, it's done well. So it's not like it's oh yeah, that makes sense kind of a, palm to forehead kind of a moment. It's more like I kind of saw this coming, but I like how they're handling it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So Xavier creates this evil version of the X-Men, which is really cool. Like, it had had Kane Marco, the Juggernaut, in it. Chamber, Jessica Drew, Spider-Woman, Johnny Storm, the Human Torch, a character that I can see but I can't remember the name of because I'm an idiot.
Which issue was
Domino?
Yeah, Domino. Thank you.
Because I got them all open in my hands because I would never download illegally anything.
None of us did. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I went to my local public library.
Yeah,
and checked out a copy.
Piracy's not cool, okay, Wayne? I know you think you're funny, but piracy seriously is that's not for cool people.
Yeah,
How pirate a car?
I mean, if I could, I would do it.
You wouldn't download a car, would you?
I would. I totally would. Things are expensive, man. You ever paid insurance on a fucking car?
No, I don't. No, I took it the right direction with my life, and I just made myself too mentally unstable to drive.
See, that's a good way to get out of driving. I ought to try that.
Yes, only Caleb is allowed to pirate comics because, well, he lives in a socialist paradise.
This is true. I didn't think about that.
I'm pretty sure comics are illegal in Venezuela.
We're not allowed to have heroes here of any type.
You're not allowed to have fun, like, at all. I'm amazed they haven't outlawed World of Warcraft. That's
I don't know.
for another stream.
Dude, do you think if I sent Caleb a copy of Superman Red Sun, I can count it as cultural enrichment?
You can write it off on your taxes.
Right?
Either that or they'll say that you're spreading propaganda.
But it's pro-fucking communism. They should be, like, lining up to jerk me off for getting that issue to them. Ooh. Ooh. But yeah, so Xavier creates these evil X-Men, and half the Exiles go after him. Half the Exiles wise up and say, well, if Xavier's not our greatest teacher, who is? Oh, duh, it's fucking Magneto.
Yep. Wait a minute, can I say it?
Yeah.
Mag-fucking-Nito.
Right?
I wonder if he had his curly mustache.
No, he was actually clean-shaven.
I know.
Which was
The only person with the curly mustache.
Wait, are you implying that Magneto was Pringles?
Oh!
Yeah, exactly.
Only person with the curly mustache in this whole series is Morph
when he decides to.
When he decides to. Yeah, he throws on an old timey swimsuit. And has a
he
mustache.
he actually has a curly mustache. See, it all ties together.
But Magneto.
And the lack of technology, once again, the lack of technology means we didn't have Mango Sentinels. So,
Out of the 4 people who are listening right now, that joke went over 3 of their heads.
And Daryl's just laughing his ass off. But yeah, I love what they did with Magneto. They kept him and a bunch of like the X-Men and other various superpowered people in this prison with a failsafe that is an A-bomb made completely of plastic parts. And it leads to this great quote by Magnus. Charming. An A-bomb made completely from plastic components. Apparently, Father, they feared you most of all. You'll prove them wrong, Dad.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
And he encases
the only thing
the entire fucking place.
That's the one thing that kind of like bugged me about the whole. I mean, I could see why, because without a quote death, it's not. It wouldn't have as meaning behind it as it did.
Yeah.
But Magnus was like, I wanted to see a potential of a character who had Magneto and Rogue's power.
Mm-hmm.
I really wanted to see that more, more of that. But
at the same time, killing him off in issue 2 proves death is definitely on the table for the series.
Mm-hmm.
And it has consequence. But at the same time, it doesn't necessarily mean that death is going to be this big fucking thing. I really like, as any of us who've actually read further know.
Yeah. The one thing I really like about it is that after it happened and they're all coalescing and stuff, and he's immediately replaced. It's just like, yep, time to move on.
The Time Broker sent me. I'm your new team member.
Mm-hmm.
Casual as fuck.
I'm a hot Asian chick.
I'm sad that we did not get to read the issue with the revelation about Mariko. Where, Blink hits on her enough that she just turns and says, I'm a lesbian, okay?
Yeah, there was a lot of, I will say that, in the whole series, I mean, like I said, I still believe the beginning was the strongest point of the series.
Yeah.
But there was some good stuff interlaced in there. But yeah, getting back to this, this whole thing.
I just want to comment real quick. But it kind of felt like they killed off Magnus, and then like the higher up editors came in and were like, "What are you doing?" And then he was like, "No, it's gonna be beautiful and tragic and whatever." And and they're like, "Okay, well, here's another hero. You need to throw them in immediately after this happens because we have a thing where we need 6 people in this series." And they were like, "Oh, okay. That makes sense. We'll go ahead and we'll work this in somehow." And then he was just sitting there and he's like, "I have no idea how I'm going to fit this in. I'm just going to plop her in right after this tragic scene, just right away."
What would be a better way to give a middle finger to my editor?
And the weird part is,
I know, right?
That tragic scene is really 2 tragic scenes. It skips, between Magnus going to sacrifice himself to free everybody, and the Mimic and the evil Xavier throwing down, and Mimic pops Wolverine's claws right through the fucking base, right under the jaw of fucking Xavier, and just you see the silhouette with the fucking claws just ripping through the top of his head.
Yeah,
and it's like
bone claw.
Yeah, and it's like, yes, in this reality Xavier's evil, but Mimic idolized Xavier. And now he has to be the one to kill him.
This Mimic in particular, too, you do learn a bit about his history, and you learn that he was not a good guy. He was, pulled over specifically by Xavier. He was, Xavier inflated his ego, made him think that he could be a good guy. And, then he pulled the face turn, became a good guy. And to jab your would-be hero in the face with a claw, not the most pleasant of prospects.
But yeah, so they drop, the replacement for the blown-up Magnus in, and immediately jump to the next reality, which was actually of the whole series, probably my favorite arc. Drop it right into the classic Trial of the Phoenix, you know?
And wasn't it like they determined that it was like the timeline moved slowly?
Yeah.
More slowly.
Well, they've established that in Marvel Multiverse years ago. Some realities just progress slower.
Yeah. Because that was also a reality where Calvin, he was a part of the X-Men too, so that was, it was very close to his reality.
Yep.
Because, he even said that he wasn't, and because like Wolverine knew him and he knew him as Cal, not as, oh, Mimic, I'm going to kill you because you're a bad guy kind of thing,
So they're forced to literally, the Talos tells them Jean Grey has to die. In this reality, she did not get replaced by the Phoenix, she merged with the Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
And then went evil.
And everybody there is like, no, we're not going to murder Jean Grey. Jean Grey she's so good. She's, Jean Grey's at the bottom of the Pacific and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
And she has to actually, like, the Talos has to actually show them what the hell is going to happen if they don't do anything, which is really cool.
Well, literally, look at this lineup. This is the classic X-Men: Cyclops, Jean, Blue-Furred Beast, Angel, Nightcrawler, Logan, Storm, and Colossus. Out of that fucking listing, 3 characters have been in love with Jean Grey.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Cyclops, Angel, and Wolverine.
Yep.
Beast, not in love with her, but she's one of his closest friends and has known him since he was 16.
Mm-hmm.
Storm, I think Jean was the one she really connected to the quickest.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because she was the other woman on the team.
Yeah.
And,
And Colossus just doesn't matter for this story. He's only in like a couple panels.
Well,
or at least for this part of the exposition, I should say.
Right, because, if you go back to the original Phoenix Saga, and especially the Dark Phoenix Saga, it was his job to take her out.
Mm-hmm.
And he pulled his punch.
Yep.
And that's why, things went south,
Like, he wasn't in love with her, he just considered her a really good friend, so he pulled his punch.
Right.
And that almost got everybody fucking killed.
That was that was like Colossus in a nutshell always. He was a big softy at heart, and he didn't want to have to kill nobody. Well, like, he didn't have to.
He's a great character, he's super strong and turns into metal and shit. Ultimate fucking bruiser, but characterized as a painter and an artist.
It's like, we were having that conversation, like a week or so ago, where we talked about like. And I know I'm using this term in the wrong way because, you always need a jobber, right?
Yeah.
And Colossus, he's big, he's strong, he's your heavy, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that's the thing. That was kind of the point to make. Sometimes to make a point, you have to have the big bad take out your heavy.
Yep.
Because if the big bad takes out your heavy, you're in for a long night.
Yeah. Well, you can't fight the boss battle without your tank.
Right.
It's really hard if your tank dies.
Right. So.
But then on the other side of this conflict, you got the Exiles. And even with the Exiles, a lot of them have very close relationships with their version of Jean Grey.
Yeah, TJ, Nocturne called her Auntie Jean because that's the way she always saw her, I mean.
Morph knew her as an X-Man.
Mm-hmm.
Mimic was in love with her.
So now you have 4 people in that experience who were in love with Jean.
Blink wouldn't have known Jean.
No.
Because in AOA...
running.
Well, that...
Only knew running from Apocalypse.
Well, she would have known any of the other X-Men just because of their counterparts in AOA. But
like,
in AOA...
Wolverine and...
Wolverine...
Weapon X and Jean were, like, separated from them.
They were in, like, Europe for part of it.
Yeah, I think, and they were only there briefly at the end, at the culmination, and like you said, she wouldn't have known a Jean Grey,
Even though both Weapon X and Jean had been X-Men in AOA, they were before Sabretooth found Blink in the prison pens.
Right.
And Thunderbird just has no connection to Jean whatsoever, apparently. And it wouldn't matter to him anyway because he just likes punching shit.
Yeah, he's just like, well, we got a job to do. Got to go punch things. Well, he's the example of that heavy I was talking about.
Yep.
Except he has no personality. You know?
Well, he gains one in the next storyline.
I know. But in this,
even in this, he says, "Tell us why this has to end in death." Like, he doesn't want to murder Jean Grey for no goddamn reason. Just because he's a big heavy doesn't mean he doesn't have some sort of heart.
Yeah.
But it was less the fact that why are we killing Jean, and it's more why are we killing.
Yeah.
There was no that personal connection that almost everybody else had.
And what I found very interesting, and that was in that the first. It went in the first. I can't remember, was it the ending of that arc or no? No. It was in the middle of that arc, the middle of the second issue of that arc. When they're all doing their thing, they all teleported to the blue area of the moon. Everything else is going kind of the way it did before. And even some of the exiles are thinking, maybe there's still a chance. And then I think it was Blink says, I don't think so. And they said, why? He said, because Jean just killed... Oh, no. Calvin said it. He said, because Jean just killed Scott.
Yeah, damn.
That's when you know it's over. Like there's no redeeming this being now, because.
But yeah, the exiles wind up taking the place.
Although I say, you killed Cyclops A+, let's go home.
Right. So the exiles take the place of the dead Imperial Guard, who had been killed off panel before shit even started, and they throw down on the blue area of the moon. The classic X-Men storyline.
Mm-hmm.
Except for, there's little wrinkles like Wolverine figured out, what are you doing here, Cal? Not knowing alternate reality, Cal. Shit like that. So they try to remove Wolverine from the fight.
Yeah, Cal manages to knock him out.
And then Nocturne possesses him to further knock him out.
And still didn't knock him out like a normal person would be knocked out.
Oh, he'll be out 12 hours, is what she says. And it's like, he'll be back in about
3
pages.
Yeah. He'll be back in 3. 3 what? 2. 1.
Don't you know who this is? This is Wolverine. He doesn't go down.
Well, he might, just not in that way.
Yeah. I mean, come on. He death couldn't even stop him. We just saw that recently. So.
Get a big old fight with Jean Grey.
Mm-hmm.
Loving that. Dead fucking Scott.
Loving it. Loving it.
The best part of the story.
Yeah, and we get a 6-on-1 fight, essentially.
Oh, and a dead Colossus, mind you.
Oh shit, I didn't even catch that.
When you see Jean standing there with Cyclops' body in her hand, she's standing on right next to a dead Colossus.
Oh shit, I didn't even notice that. I was so busy looking at his dead fucking face.
And then she fucking torches Storm to death.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she's beyond gone at this point, and everybody sees it. Morph gets his ass knocked out.
And how does this get solved?
Oh, he's just sitting there talking like a bitch, doing the sort of thing that Morph always does, and somebody walks up behind him. Somebody with some little curls on the side of his head. Somebody who's not Beast with little curly bits on the side of his head.
He's not blue.
Knocked out for 12 hours.
He's pretty fucking hairy, but he's not blue.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I like how the Exiles don't actually fill the mission. It's actually Logan and Warren that do it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. With a little assist to Blink. And, to give them. The Exiles get the assist on this, definitely. Blink, tries to pull a big, I'm going to sneak up on the villain, really to just distract the Dark Phoenix so that, Thunderbird can come out and beat the shit out of her for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
Meantime, Warren's got Logan high in the air, and he's like, we both love her, but we're gonna have to kill her. So Warren,
and you think that they're gonna drop him?
Yeah, they make you think of like a ballistic arc in Wolverine, but instead, Blink teleports them behind Jean so that Wolverine can hit her from behind and skewer her, thus killing the threat of, but at the cost of Logan and Warren. They're both the whole X-Men team at that point is dead, except for Hank. Hank is never shown. But everybody else dead. And it's like this weird kind of bittersweet twist.
Logan might not be dead, but he's missing an arm at the very least.
Really, an
Probably
arm?
Dead, right? Yeah. There's a pan. Page.
I'm looking at now.
He's missing that arm.
No. If you look carefully, it's not really shown very well. It's kind of lost in the curls of his body hair. He's laying on the arm.
Oh, shame.
Yeah, that was just a bad perspective, essentially.
Okay, so Dick hit it right on the nose then. Bad perspective occasionally.
Yeah, no, some of the panels of art, like that one, for example, it's the problem is just trying to show the fucking consequences of what happened. I have to say that this probably is my favorite little arc that happens here in the 6 issues we read as well. It's a really good battle. And I always kind of wanted to know what would happen if they were to have merged. It's one of those sorts of things where it's like, I wonder just how powerful Jean Grey would be, and apparently it's not as powerful as I thought.
Well, yeah. This was also, a Phoenix figuring out their powers still. So.
Oh, okay. So that would explain it. Okay.
Because there's one line. Let's see. I think Cal said it. Let me find it.
Yeah, because if that wasn't conveyed very well, I was kind of expecting a much more epic battle than that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Cal's having an inner monologue. He says, "We're running out of time. She's recovering faster with each blow, so it won't be long before she picks us all off." So it's essentially saying she's getting stronger as time's going on.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And she still manages to take out a team of X-Men and almost take out 6 fucking Exiles. So it's not insignificant what she's accomplishing.
Yeah, especially the X-Men. Storm's powers have been described as like almost godlike.
Yeah, I'm one of those people that when I hear, I don't know. I guess I built up the whole Dark Phoenix thing a little too much in my head then, because it's just I always figured it would be much more, cataclysmic than that.
Well,
as it were.
considering in the regular Marvel universe, Dark Phoenix destroyed a solar system.
Did this one too?
Yeah, that's and the whole reason, like the only thing that really held back the Dark Phoenix was Jean.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I mean, if I think it is that was still, the Dark, Jean was still fighting in some way, even in this, She just didn't have as much control as she could have before,
Especially when she kills her man.
Yeah.
Then she's off the rails right there.
Mm-hmm. To be fair, if I was dating Scott Summers, I'd kill him too.
I don't disagree with that statement.
I would go so far as to say I would date Scott Summers just to get close enough to him to kill him if I was her. I'm not going to make like a big display of him. I'm just going to wait till he's like, like post-coital nap kind of thing and just shut his brain off. Granted, this is Cyclops, so his brain's probably shut off to begin with. I fucking hate Cyclops. I just fucking hate him so much.
Are there more ways we can kill Cyclops? That's what I'm wondering.
Exiles Volume 3, you want to start writing that?
I mean,
kill Cyclops in
it's just 100 issues of killing Cyclops in different universes, yes.
It's like we're removing the plague that is Cyclops.
Well, put it this way. Remember in JLA The Nail, Wayne, when Joker kept bringing him back to kill him over and over, or bring Batman back and killing him over and over and over again and shit? and torturing him. I would do that to Scott Summers. I'd take the journey. I'd assemble the gauntlet and just fuck with him. So it seems, Caleb. Yes, is burning the only solution for Cyclops? So it seems.
Yes. So it seems.
So it seems.
So it seems.
But yeah.
Oh, yeah. So the
5th and 6th issues. Yes. Yeah. The Hulk storyline.
I actually really enjoyed this Hulk storyline.
I thought it was a neat. I mean, and I'm still kind of reading it while we're talking. But
I'm generally somebody who's not a big fan of the Hulk.
Me neither.
And I thought this was just a really fun way of using the Hulk. I like the idea of a Hulk who's always on as well. And that's the case with this Hulk. It's that he doesn't go back to Banner. It seems like he's been the Hulk for, 6 months now, minimum?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun. I can deal with that kind of Hulk.
But I liked it because it brought a piece home. That the Exiles could run into alternate reality forms of themselves, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing. You had Thunderbird run into an alternate version of himself who had taken over the role of Shaman in Alpha Flight. And
I thought that was cool.
The two just play off each other so well. Not only does it establish the Shaman version, it finally gives a personality to the War version.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the whole mission, is to stop the Hulk's rampage through Canada. And they get found out almost immediately by Alpha Flight, who is, in this reality, led by Wolverine. Mm-hmm. And at that, a Wolverine who seems to have gotten his shit together without Xavier. Which interests me.
He hasn't met Xavier yet. He very explicitly is like, wait, you're telling me I'm going to be a member of the X-Men? You said they got a school near here? I don't know about that. I've got a home here in Alpha Flight. I'm a Canadian, born and bred.
Yeah, whereas in the Marvel, he could give a shit about Canada usually.
Yeah.
He could give a shit about most things, to be fair.
But, they go looking for Hulk, and it takes 2 weeks to find him. In the interim...
First they drop into Canada... First they drop into Canada and get the shit kicked out.
Yeah, the one-sided ass whooping by the Hulk. But I'm just trying to pare this down so we can just kind of breeze through it and more discuss it than synopsize it.
Yeah, true.
And
so they look for him for 2 weeks.
And it introduces the bad Exiles, basically, which are known as Weapon X, which actually had AOA's Sabretooth on the team. Connected, obviously, to AOA's Blink, in that Sabretooth is Blink's father figure. So, they try, there's a really great scene when the two John Proudstars are talking, and Hulk shows up, and instead of fighting, they try to calm him down. And it seems to be working until that dickhead Deadpool just fucking picks him off from a distance and shoots him in the back of the fucking head to piss him off again.
That damn merc with a mouth.
Right.
And a metal eye in this case.
You could definitely tell that was not our Deadpool, 616. Because 616 Deadpool would have told Sabretooth to stuff off and not even... He's like, I'm out of here, I'm leaving.
Yeah, I'm not going to piss off the Hulk. Fuck you, dude.
Right, yeah.
I ain't getting paid enough for this shit.
There was an issue, and this was during the Heroes Reborn bullshit that Marvel did years ago, and they were taking on the Hulk. Deadpool had to take on the Hulk, and I'm talking about it was just the Hulk. There was no banner.
Yeah.
And the whole time they were talking about he said, they said we have to go after, and in the next panel he said, nope, no way, nope, nope.
Yeah.
And they said, oh, come on, we fought the Juggernaut. He said, yeah, this is kind of two different things here.
Juggernaut has limits. Hulk does not.
Yeah. Well, the big thing is Juggernaut can be, in a sense, Juggernaut can be stopped to a degree.
And he can be reasoned with.
Yeah.
Juggernaut needs to get going to not be stopped. Hulk starts at to not be stopped.
And then gets bigger from there.
Yeah, exactly.
Gets to the world breaker point.
Yeah. Put it this way. You remember episode of Dragon Ball Z when we first see Majin Buu and you think, oh, this is nothing. He's nobody. He's going to get his ass kicked. And then he gets mad.
Yeah.
And he said, me, big power. Mm-hmm. And then just blows everything up. It's like, yeah, that's Hulk.
But that's not even a pissed off Hulk. That's like Hulk at basic.
Right, exactly. That's like... Okay, this basically is go to a zoo. Find the tiger. The tiger behind the cage looks docile and fine. Now go punch that tiger in the face. And find out what happens.
That's pretty much what happens to this Hulk right.
Well,
yeah.
I think the better analogy would be go find the polar bear. Decide it's not mad enough.
Yeah, but I didn't want to bring up the Punisher again.
You're on a comic books podcast and you don't want to bring up a comic book. The fuck is wrong with you?
Well, I've used it before. That's what I'm saying. I don't want to think I'm a one note,
Implying any of us has more than one note.
Nigga, all I know is Hellboy. That's my one note.
Yeah.
Play it well.
He just well, that one time a Hellboy. Yes, Evan, we know.
Yeah, he's going to have a blast when we actually start covering Hellboy, right?
Yeah, he's like, oh, Hellboy. Woo.
Yeah, my ears just perked up. I heard the word. You guys say treat?
Well, I'll put it out there then.
Like a dog.
I'll put it out there. Official announcement. Season 4, Hellboy. Get ready for it.
It's gonna be good.
It's going to be all Hellboy, too.
Words cannot describe how happy I am right now.
Evan just has a steel rod in his pants right now.
And that's not even the one I just put down there.
Hey.
But yeah, obviously I didn't have you guys read this full run because the first volume alone is 100 fucking issues.
Yeah,
and 2 annuals, if I remember correctly.
Yep. And
And
it's like I said, it eventually gets meh.
Yeah, like at about issue 50, it becomes like hit or miss in equal amounts.
Mm-hmm. It eventually becomes like, how many ways can we see Wolverine get killed?
Or just in one storyline cases, how many Wolverines can we put in it?
Yeah, in one issue. Yeah, in one storyline.
There's one storyline where there's literally about 50 or 60 Wolverines.
Yeah. Was that
That's
the one
a
where they
force that could end the universe.
Is that the one where Hyperion just melts one? I thought that was like the best.
Yeah.
My friend had that. I have a friend, he hates Wolverine, right?
Yeah.
He had that, and he loved Exiles, but he hated Wolverine. That's why he liked Exiles, because you could see Wolverine die so many ways, right?
Yeah.
And he had that fucking scene of Hyperion just fucking melting Wolverine as his desktop image.
Oh yeah.
Damn.
That's like my hatred for Cyclops, man.
Yeah.
Exiles Volume 3. Get on it, Marvel. Cyclops dies 1,000 ways.
1,000 ways to kill Cyclops. It's just 100 issues of killing Cyclops.
10 times per issue, once every 3 pages. Turns out Cyclops broke the multiverse. Now we have to jump from every fucking alternate reality and kill Cyclops.
Mm-hmm. And then, I was thinking about when you said that, how this run was over 100 issues, and then they did Volume 2, which was barely 8. It wasn't that much, 3. It wasn't even that many, was it?
Oh, hold on a sec.
It was very short. I remember that.
I have them all in front of me.
Volume 2 was 6. I read that last night.
Volume 2 is Volume 2 is technically Volume 3. New Exiles came in between, and that was 18 issues in an annual.
Okay.
And then Exiles Volume 2 is the third part of it, and that's only 6 issues.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the one
Exiles Volume 2 was kind of going to go back to the way it was with this run, the first run. But it didn't sell well, and they canceled it. Hey, Marvel, Remember when things wouldn't sell well and you would cancel them? Just saying.
Look at you, Captain Marvel.
Shit sold worse. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or some shit was even selling worse, and they kept that.
Yeah.
But that might be because they had an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show planned for like a year from then. Who knows?
See? Yeah.
Not me.
But yeah, going off this idea of fixing a fractured multiverse, which, by the way, I'm going to give this all to you at the end. They do tell you, like, not in End of Exiles, but in the end of the third set of it, they do tell you who broke time in reality. Annoyingly, it was Kang.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember that. It was Kang. It's always Kang.
It's always fucking Kang.
Mm-hmm. And then in the third, in that, well, I guess volume 2 technically, but didn't they make Morph basically the time broker?
Yeah, Morph was the time broker in the 2009 series, so volume 2 is what they'd call it.
Yeah.
And then you had, what's her name? Blink, who was like the team leader, quote unquote.
Yeah.
And then you also had Nocturne like pulling strings behind the curtain there.
Which was kind of weird because Nocturne had at one point, like in this particular series, right, where we've been reading from.
Keep going. I'll hold that thought.
He ended up having I think it was a stroke, or
yes, but that actually ties into it. Well, I was going to say that actually. Yeah. I think it was during Chuck Austin's run. The Exiles crossed into 616.
God, fuck you, Chuck Austin. I fucking hate you.
And it was funny because
Chuck Austin.
The Talus had told him, leave your possessions to gain your wings. And they had no idea what that meant. And it turned out it was leave Nocturne behind, her power to possess people. And gaining their wings, they picked up Beak. Yep.
That's so
and it actually, well, hold up. It actually turned out that it wasn't lame. There was a reason they had to pick up Beak specifically. Because of Hyperion. Hyperion going mad and trying to destroy everything. They needed someone who's basically had the power to become friends with everyone that had fallen in the missions and were being brought back to life to fight Hyperion. And to find other versions of Hyperion, befriend them, and have him fight the evil Hyperion. And it turns out Beak, it may not be his power, but he is just ridiculously good at being pathetic and making friends through it.
You're telling me, wait a minute, hold on a second. You're telling me that Beak was the proto-Jerry from Rick and Morty?
Yeah.
He was proto-Jerry.
Yeah.
He's so pathetic that people are just like, oh, you poor thing.
Wait, you're really a mutant? You're really an X-Man? No, you're Beak. You're like ugly as sin.
You're like a chicken dude.
Dude, that was funny. When after what was the X-Men? The event where we lost all the mutants.
House of M.
House of M. Yeah, Decimation was the one after that when we found out all the And Beak was one of those who had lost his powers, and somehow he was uglier than when he was a mutant chicken.
Yeah, he was just a very homely looking man.
Yeah, it was like, poor fellow. It's like, why? Why there isn't a world, there isn't a I don't believe in that, what do you call it? Darwinism. I don't believe Darwinism would make somebody that ugly. I don't think evolution would do that to anybody, but they did.
And the weird part is he still managed to get a girlfriend and knock her up.
Yeah, and then she had weird egg angel babies.
Yeah.
Which once again I think goes back to my Jerry theory. He's just so pathetic. Just took solace on him.
Well, no, because even when he got depowered, they stayed together.
Yeah, but just because he got depowered doesn't make him any less pathetic.
True.
Oh, it just made him into a dude with a schnoz the size of a normal person's face.
Yep. He had a beak, even when he wasn't a mutant.
Poor kid.
But yeah, like the idea was, interesting in the fact that it's something Marvel has never done. They've always had like, here is an alternate reality isolated, right? But Marvel's always like Marvel's always been about crossing the boundaries. Time and space don't fucking matter when you have things like the Infinity Gauntlet. When you can break time and space, why can't you just cross over from one reality to another? And I think Exiles really pulled that off pretty well.
No, plus the concept. Just the concept alone is like one of the most fun ideas I've probably seen in comics. Like, okay, not only are you the X-Men, you're the X-Men whose job it is to go fix the other X-Men's realities. These cats are like, okay, we get to see everybody with role swapped. Okay, cool. We get Magneto as the good guy. We get Xavier as the bad guy. We get, Sabretooth as not a major dickhole in this series. I read a couple more issues beyond the 3 that we read.
Yeah. Well, 6.
Well, I said few, but yeah.
Oh, I thought you said
6.
3.
Close enough.
Well, few does imply 3.
I have no idea what few implies. You get Deadpool with a sweet-looking Deadshot eye.
Yeah.
It's like...
He totally did steal that from Deadshot, didn't he?
Yeah. We get some pretty cool characters.
Sorry,
and pretty cool switches on them. Go ahead.
I got to the part in the last issue we were talking about, issue 6, where the two Johns are talking to each other, and they're basically dunking on an invisible woman like we do. Like, her powers are lame.
I knocked out the Hulk, and you're not going to hear me talk about it every day like Sue Storm. I'm just like, yes!
I know, isn't that the truth? She should just have business cards that say, Sue Richards, Invisible Woman, knocked out the Hulk. He said, shouldn't be too hard on her. Lame powers. I like how I just like the fact that superheroes kind of think like we do. In a situation like that. Yeah, it's like I could turn invisible. All right, okay, that's great.
Not gonna lie though, the only reason her powers are lame are the context of her powers. She can turn invisible and create force field. That's actually a really cool power, but not when you've got a stretchy guy, a fire guy, and fucking Ben Grimm.
Right.
It's like 3 people whose powers kick your ass, and one person who just, all in all, makes you look like a shit character. That being Ben.
Well, she's not even using her powers for, like, the coolest shit that she could. She could make a force field in the middle of a dude's body and split him in half. But hold
on.
Cool like that.
Hold on. Take this to a better extreme. What if she was an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., an actual spy? Somewhere where her powers would be useful.
Yeah. That would be cool as fuck.
I would love to see Sue be an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., running around Black Widow style.
Mm-hmm.
Like twin 9mm kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Catherine Zeta-Jones through the laser beams kind of thing.
Yeah, fuck that. Just walk through them. You're invisible. What does it matter? Laser beams go right through me. Do. Walk right through.
Mm-hmm. Okay, fine. The laser beams that need to have the same exact frequency, so she needs to do the cool Catherine Zeta-Jones thing.
You just want to see...
Yes, yeah. I just want to see the Catherine Zeta-Jones thing and hear that damn song.
Oh, for fuck's sake. But, Malice, her evil alter ego did kind of hint around to what she would be capable of.
Yep.
Like, one of the cooler things, I think, Jason, I remember this, he said, imagine putting a tiny force field in somebody's brain and giving them an aneurysm. Virtually undetected death.
Okay, I gotta take this point. That is a trope I fucking hate. When a supervillain takes control of a superhero and uses their powers in new ways that the hero never thought about, but would still be applicable to a hero lifestyle. Like big fucking.
I call that the Emma Frost syndrome.
Exactly.
Iceman's body.
Exactly. That's what I was about to bring up.
All of a sudden, Iceman was like dope as fuck.
It's like, I can travel through water. I can reform myself. And I can do all sorts of neat shit that 3 issues ago I couldn't do. Thank you, Emma.
Well, if you remember when he did it, when she did it to him,
yeah.
After he got his body back, he couldn't do it. It took a long time for him to be be capable of, doing that shit.
Self-imposed mental block, really. Fear of his own power.
On top of that, it's like, well, I always said it's like it was what I call it, and I think you'll agree with me on this. Is the Omega level mutant syndrome? Where we just need more Omega level mutants? Like, no, we don't really.
Nope.
2 or 3 are fine.
Power creep is very real.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's bullshit, too.
Well, that was what I thought that was the problem that I thought I was going to have with Mimic in this series. Mm-hmm. But, like, really that never applied. You always saw him getting the short end of the stick from the other mutant with his power.
Like when Wolverine nearly fucking killed him?
Yeah, like when Wolverine nearly fucking killed him, and like when he nearly lost the mind battle with Xavier, but managed to spear him in the face before that happened.
Or the one time his powers worked against him and he started mimicking the Hulk and gave himself radiation poisoning.
Yep.
Put him out of commission for an issue and a half.
Yeah.
See, he got his flight powers back by mimicking North Star.
Mm-hmm.
Which also, of course, means that Mimic is now gay. That's how it works.
No, it doesn't.
Gay is a mutant power. Fuck you.
Okay. At first, North Star thought he was hitting on him.
Yeah.
Halo B.
Well, it's like, dude, he's got to be around the guy for 5 hours to fully absorb his powers. What other reason is there to hang out with North Star for 5 hours and maybe getting a piece?
Mm-hmm.
There is no viable reason to want to hang around a French Canadian for 5 hours. Like, you have to be getting something out of it.
Yeah, that's probably fair. They speak French after all.
I don't speak frog. I love the fact that I still make fun of French people after finding out I am part French. Like, mostly French.
No one needs to know that. No one needs to know that you're part French.
Now everybody that listens to this episode is going to know.
All right, Jason.
I just doubted myself. So, okay, guys, I'm sorry. The real point of having this episode was my coming out. I'm part French. Okay? Deal with it.
Well.
Look, nail and baguette eating motherfucker. We forgive you.
I don't.
Wayne, you're fired.
I literally just pulled the piccolo there. It's like, no, Jason, everything's fine. We don't mind that you're French. I do.
Nobody's telling you how to be not be French. I am.
Mm-hmm. If I see you wearing a white flag, ooh.
Well, no, see, that's where it's evened out. On the other side, I'm mostly British.
Oh, so you got to never give up kind of thing. So basically, you got to never give up and always surrender, so you just don't do anything. Like,
you know me very well.
Yeah. I was gonna say now some of your self-loathing makes more sense. If you're half British and half French, it only makes sense that you would hate yourself.
Oh, worse, I'm also French Canadian and Polish.
And wasn't there some Swedish in there too?
Yeah, and Swedish.
So you really don't want to get involved in shit. It's like,
nope, not down it.
Yeah, but not modern Swedish, because then he'd be like, watching, his wife get cuckolded.
Oh, I was going to say watching Project Runway, but it's pretty much the same thing.
Yeah. Watching Project Runway while your wife is being cuckolded.
Yeah.
Like, all right. And he's raising his wife's son and all that stuff. It's fine. We're going to get in trouble for this episode.
How are we going to get in trouble? We're independent. We have no sponsors. We have no one we're beholden to.
So let's donate to Caleb Prime's Patreon.
Yeah, everybody donate to Caleb Prime's Patreon.
Yeah, please.
He endorses us.
And Chapo Trap House.
And Chapo Trap House. We'll eventually have our own.
Yep, next week, hopefully.
Yeah, I'm working on it. Just trying to get the phraseology down for certain things, and because I don't want it to. I'm one of those people. I don't want it to seem needy, But at the same time, it'd be like this would be a big help if you would do this and help us out.
That's the big thing. Like, we're not in danger of getting shut down because we can't afford
going to lose their home.
Nobody's going to lose their
house.
The podcast is not going anywhere. Mm-hmm. This is. It's something.
You're going to get that regardless.
Yeah, it's something to help us do it better.
Do it better. I was thinking, I wanted to talk to you about it. I guess we could talk about it. We don't. We're not afraid to talk about things in public, so
yeah.
Not. I was thinking something of the maybe having another kind of show during the week of some kind, if we could pull it off. Once we get a certain level. Patrons, it's okay, I'm just using a day, it's no quote, just on Wednesdays we're going to start doing the midweek something,
Yeah.
And we'll play golf with friends with you guys or some shit.
Yeah. Or, you know what I'm saying. I just thought it would be cool if we could expand a little bit, later on. And of course, if you got some money rolling in, help out with certain things, it makes things a little easier, so you ain't feeling so pulled on one side or the other,
I mean, honestly, we'll throw in free blowjobs from Evan if you guys give us $15 a month.
Mm-hmm. If you make it 20, we'll go throw in free blowjobs from Dick here.
The free blowjobs from Evan or free blowjobs for Evan? I didn't quite hear that right.
Wait, what?
Who and from both ways, yeah.
I don't go both ways though.
And if you donate $50 a month, you can finger cuff Jason.
No, you can't.
I'm glad you stumbled over that. Where you're
about it.
Well, dude, I was drinking when you said it.
Oh,
you know what? You know what I pictured in my head too is I pictured somebody putting a Chinese finger trap on Jason.
Oh,
and just being really annoyed.
Not the Chasing Amy version, but the actual finger cuffs.
Like an actual little Chinese finger trap thing. He's just sitting there at his desk and he's just screaming at it. He's pissed off because he can't get it off.
Jason's like, this is bullshit.
God damn you, China.
Don't pass on the finger traps, but take all the traps that you want to throw at him.
Oh yeah. Well, dude, that's what Scrump's getting me for my birthday.
What, a trap?
Yep.
Chapo trap?
No, it's a trap.
A real trap, not a Chapo trap.
Oh, so not communist. Got it. Oh.
Yeah.
All right. On that note, yes, please donate to Caleb Prime's Patreon. He deserves it. Chapo Trap House, and the Comic Book Legal Defense Fund. Yep. Yes. And we'll see you all whenever the hell we feel like doing this again.